So just literally doing like a bit of like
bit of
research back into it again. Bud Light and Budweiser. Oh fuck me, we just checked it. This is from talk.tv and it literally says according to reports bottle sales are down 30% and tap sales are down by as much as 50%.
Literally
That's
cut in half.
Fucking incredible that is. Like
That's just bars everywhere.
That's
just
stopping it. Yeah, literally.
Just
like,
nobody buying it.
You're talking at this point now of like no one is even considering going out and buying this stuff. Like that is not even in thought process now, is it?
Well, we've seen those photos of supermarkets pushing it right to the front, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. Places like Walmart have been moving it to the front, so when you enter the store. We've even noticed it in our stores. More alcohol sales are pushing it more closer. The Budweiser and Bud Light boxes in Asda were actually closer to the end cap at the aisles where people pay at the cashier than any other beer, which is fantastic because we're not buying it. But some people are still buying it. They're not on the boycott. No. So our update on that is we've moved to Asahi beer. We have moved to Asahi beer. Asahi, please sponsor us.
Pretty please. We'd love it. I mean, it is also one of the only beers we've really been able to find, well, around here in the UK, down Southampton area, that doesn't seem to be owned by Bud Light's parent company, really.
No, by any of them.
It's genuinely one of the only ones.
Like we say, go back to a couple of episodes. You'll probably drop a link in it.
Yeah, I can drop a link in.
It will have that image up there that you can find this.
Yeah.
And I will put a little link below where you can find this that has every name and consortium of every beer alcohol companies that work together and are in franchise and marketing positions.
Yeah, I can even try and put something up on the screen. It's the illusion of choice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just every beer is essentially owned by a very small amount of conglomerates, really.
So fucking keep it up. That's all I can say. Well done. I mean, rumours are I've heard in some. I mean, these are basically things I don't take things from the media seriously. These are things from TikTok accounts, from YouTube. People are saying it is as near as down as 8 billion so far this week.
Yeah.
8 billion. Now I know that obviously Bud Light is part of Budweiser and then so forth. They'll be able to push some money into that and make some more marketing and be able to move some money around here or there, but. You're fucking serious. That's some 8 billion. I mean...
That is a lot.
That's a defence budget for a country, you know. That's fucking serious.
Yeah, that is a huge amount of money, especially on something as, I guess, as simple as beer. I guess it just puts in perspective how much is sold.
Do you think... This is a serious question. Do you think they'll recover?
I think they'll recover, yeah. I don't... Because by the looks of it, they're down, 8 billion... But I also, at the same time, think the amount they were selling was something ridiculously more than that anyway.
Yeah, it was. They were pitching their sales up before they were even ready.
I want to say it was something like 40 billion, but it was down by 5 billion last time we checked, or something stupid like that. I think they'll recover, sure, because I think there are always going to be people that will buy. How long it will take to recover, I don't know. That is the question.
The phase... That's what it'd be. It's a phase of boycott, isn't it?
To be fair.
I mean, I know they've come out with a new advert and they've done the Clydesdales and the Patriot and everything. Yeah. If you've seen the advert.
I haven't seen the advert.
No. The advert, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. The new Budweiser advert. You've just burnt a hole in your mum's rug. You're now chucking a fucking carpet or something, or another rug over the top of it to hide it. She knows it's. She knows it's there. You know it's there. She knows it's gonna be there because we're the same. Right now, they've done this whole new branding, blah blah blah. It isn't going to work. It's not cutting it for most people. A lot of the comment section on these adverts, they've actually had to remove the comments because of the amount of hate that's gone towards it. Which again, fair enough. Like we've said in this entire podcast of our beginning, we are not here for like making a pro-choice. We don't hate it and we don't love it. Get on with yourselves. Be normal. I'm not bothered. I don't care what you get up to with your body, what you do, who you love, what you do. If you don't even love anyone, if you're one of those. But don't ram it down my neck. Like, I'm not being funny. We wouldn't have been bothered if it had just had a normal fucking woman on the can, holding the can. You had to go and take the women away from it and put a male that's dressed as a female.
That is the tricky bit, isn't it? It's like a brand as big as Bud Light, they're basically picking a side.
They are,
and that's kind of the issue because they're so big. they shouldn't have the power to pick a side.
They don't need to.
Because they can completely sway the majority if they want to.
100%.
I mean, they've obviously tried to, and it's not.
Well,
exactly
they've swayed the majority for a minority.
Yeah,
that's
and it's
not
kind
even
of
2%.
they've tried to, and it's not exactly gone that way. But at the same time, they do have enough power to sway a lot of people, and I think that's the issue. Like, nobody in that, or no brand in that position of power should have that option really to pick a side on anything, because that's completely unfair.
Well, it's that woke woman, isn't it?
Who's the woke woman?
Let's get her up.
Christ, when you say woke woman, I thought we were getting back on Greta for a second.
So yeah, Bud Light VP, like. I'd just take a picture next to the Bud Light, next to the pumps and a couple of bottles. I mean, Shane got one in her hand.
Do you reckon she's ever drunk one?
Like most people, never drunk, no, 100%. It's like most people, like they work for a company, they've got the high vis on, they've got the company name, the hard hat, and they're actually doing like something with a shovel or they're doing something with a tool. She's got her arms crossed, straight away body language is, this, I don't want to talk about this isn't me.
Do you know what it reminds me of? You ever see those photos of like families in the 80s, and you'll see like the husband stood on his own and the wife and kids next to him, because you can see there's something awkward going on.
There's nothing right there, no, because it's a facade, it's a made up family.
It's pretend.
It's like Nuketown, isn't it, with all the wax, all those wax mannequins stood around. But it's true, isn't it? Like like the Fallout pictures you'd see, like on the tins or something, it'd be like a woman who's like in an apron and everything. You know, wow. And now we got to this point of in life of Budweiser, my favourite beer, has been absolutely fucking turned. I didn't need politics on my beer.
Your favourite beer no more.
Wow. I mean, I think this episode's going to be a bit wild because obviously we're going to hit this hard. Piers Morgan's been hitting it hard again on his show, on the Piers Morgan Uncensored. That was live the other night and that was quite funny again. Don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these people that hates. But it's got to a point now where it's like, hang on a minute, I'm going to have to start listening to the unwoke to listen to what the woke have to say.
To almost find some balance.
Exactly. And it's a bit like the Canadian Prime Minister, he's come forward with some liberal shit this week as well. And it's all to do with the transgender again. Lesbian, gay, bisexual. That was all that we knew through school, through being a teenager and years in college. Like, even if you were like bisexual, people used to go, wow, you know, like, fucking hell, man, like, what's it like?
Yeah, like they've just seen some exotic animals.
Yeah, like, exactly, like a parakeet that's landed in London, like, you know.
The dodo's just come in. You know what I think a lot of the issue is, I think we've kind of discussed this on previous episodes, is that a lot of the people that are seen to be fighting for the trans community aren't actually trans themselves. They're basically people, I guess, liberal, who want something to fight for.
Want something to change.
I've seen so many interviews with so many actual trans people who have said, like, just leave me alone to kind of get on with my thing. Like, I don't need to be fighting a war. I just want to live my life. But they can't, because there are these people who aren't trans and don't have any trans family that are trying to fight for them, but they're just looking for something to fight for.
Who's that one that's all over Snapchat and everything like that, and he dresses as a...
Who's that on the show?
No.
I've seen videos of rallies of people, and when you interview the people that are at the rallies, they're basically like what you'd class as a Karen, I suppose. It's, you know, a middle-aged woman who's kind of looking for something to fight for. You know, it's a middle-aged woman looking for something to fight for. It's not actually the target they're kind of fighting for. They're not actually part of it, and it's like, why are you trying to speak for these people? I think that's a lot of the problem. They're looking for a war. They're not looking to actually solve the problem. They're looking for a fight.
It was Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star is the one who's come forward and interview, and he says that all of it's just getting well out of hand now. Obviously, he's been transgender for quite a long time now, hasn't he? I think he's been going on years. I mean, he's got something stupid like a massive following on YouTube because of what he does, how he shows how he does it, and stuff like that. Never watch him, but I just know of him from other videos and everything like that. And I did watch him. He was in a podcast with some other guys. He literally said, it's all getting like, but from what I can remember from what he was saying, I can't actually factual tell you, but it's basically, he's out of fucking, it's getting all out of our hand, and I think he doesn't agree with any of it. Because I think he was who he was at the time when it was different. Now, it seems this 2% of the community are like a fucking 80%. It's blown out of control all because of this Bud Light thing.
Yeah. Considering that there are, say, 1 to 2% of people that are actually trans in the United States anyway, it seems like there's a much higher percentage of people that are kind of fighting as if they were trans, and that's where things get a bit muddied. Like they're almost. I understand fighting a war because it's something you believe in, but I generally don't think a lot of these people believe in it.
Yeah, but it's if you're willing to pick up the arms and fight for it, isn't it? And like you go back to it, like you said, there's a lot of people that are fighting because they feel that it's. When does it get to a point when it's physical then to verbal assault? Do we go back to the saying of sticks and stones would break my bones?
I think it's very tricky because it's like it gets a bit muddied. Where do you draw the line between saying I don't like this to be then being arrested because it's hate speech? Saying you don't like something isn't hate.
When it gets to a point of you being what would be classed as an extremist.
But then the problem with that is the bar gets lowered every day.
Every day you won't be able to. In a minute, you won't be able to say boo to a goose. You would literally be offending anyone, even if you thought completely differently, if you processed differently to someone else.
People will come out in defence of the goose community.
Yeah, kind of. Save my goose. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that. Where does it toe the line? And when does it toe the line that it becomes identity fraud?
The problem is you can't keep moving the bar lower and lower and lower, because it's got to stop somewhere. There's got to be a line.
I mean, it's even got to a point now with the schools in the country here in the UK that they've now made a law that they cannot have transgender to protect those schools if single-sex schools are to take in transgender, which I fucking completely agree with. Because if you're at a boys' school but you want to be a girl, you can't be at a boys' school, you go to a girls' school. Because it's now got to a point where they've got kids kicking off in the States because they've got unisex toilets being put in against their will. They're having urinals that are being covered up, so the lads can't even go to a fucking piss. They've got to sit down in these cubicles, but they can't because they have to beat the line with the girls. And it's like, when does it get to a point where it goes from a standard human right of you are allowed to go to a restroom to a point where you've got to fucking suffer and hold because you've got to let Jenny/Steve go and take a piss.
It's so tricky.
And he's got to put a tampon up his ass because he can't put it anywhere else.
It's so tricky. I will make an assumption here with what I'm about to say. But what I'm about to ask, how many people over the age of 25 do you think feel like they need gender reassignment surgery? Because from what I've seen, anyone who seems to identify as they, them, using, I don't know what the right word, it's not extreme pronouns, but different pronouns.
Just pronouns, yeah.
They seem to be of a certain age. It's almost like that end teenage years when they're trying to figure out who they are and they can't find out, and they see this thing where it's like you can be whatever you want. So they almost become this blurred line of nothing, where they don't not pick a side, but they don't choose what they want to be because they can't decide.
Well, they've even got to a point where you're like that, and they're actually having growth prevention pills to stop them having puberty.
Yeah, I almost feel like
which will fucking kill someone.
I think people get to a certain age where it's like, I don't know, 25, 27, whatever, where they suddenly realise, oh, that was not a phase, but they almost get to a point where they realise they were kind of looking for something that wasn't even there because they just didn't want to decide what they were.
Well, we've all done it. We were all once upon a time skater. We all played the guitar once upon a time. We all wanted to join the army. We all wanted to be in the NASA.
Yeah, because you're trying to find out who you are.
Who you want to be.
That's absolutely
fine.
Got
nothing wrong with that. You can explore. Like we always said during through school, people will become curious to their sex. Like, am I gay? And you'd never know really till you've had that moment with another person who probably shares the same feeling as you. And that's only when you'd really know. But you'd experiment that through school.
Yeah.
And I know loads of lads that then turn out to be bisexual, and then later on down the years they got married with a woman, they weren't bisexual, and then they had children and they were, straight. But you want to call that cis male now and heterosexual. I mean, let's label everything at this point.
The problem is people don't want to... People of a young age anyway.
No.
Sort of a young age where they're trying to find out who they are. They're almost too scared to make a decision either way. And that's where the problem comes in. Like, to be fair, I knew of this guy. I didn't know him personally, but I knew him through a friend who he was in his young 20s. He was in his early 20s. And he was kind of curious. He thought, I don't know if I'm, bisexual or gay. And he had sex with a man who was one of his friends, and when they were done, he was like, no, I'm not gay. Which, Not ideal, because you've obviously gone through with it at that
I
point.
regret everything.
And he genuinely said at the end, he was like, I didn't really like it. But the thing is, at the end, he kind of come to that conclusion, and he decided, he realised he wasn't. But I think a lot of people, they don't want to decide. They want it to be ambiguous. But that doesn't help anyone. Not even that person. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help anyone. I'm not saying you have to decide right away, but you can't live floating between the lines forever.
Well, some of it's not even a child's choice now. I was just literally checking what I'd saved the other day. There's schools that are actually stopping children and they're making them trans change.
I saw that as well.
Yeah, and making them wear the vests and everything to try and hold back the development.
And the worst thing was they were doing it behind the parents' backs.
Behind the parents' back. Do you know what? I tell you what, if that serious to God, I hope that parent sues for everything they got. And they thought there was nothing they were doing wrong.
Yeah.
They thought they were doing nothing wrong. What kind of brainwashed hick shit is that? I mean, if that was in the state of Alabama or something, I could tell you now that school would probably have about 18 holes in every doorway from an AR-15. Because that's disgusting. It's absolutely mental how a school can think. Where are these teachers getting approved to be in these schools? Mm. It's getting to a point where they're actually stopping the allegiance of the flag and they're actually doing their allegiance to the gay pride flag.
Allegiance to the rainbow.
Why?
That's actually a funny point. I don't actually, personally, I've never believed in any sort of, salute to the flag, salute to whatever. I've never really been into that sort of thing. So the thought of saluting to any kind of flag for me seems ridiculous. Like any sort of power, over me, whether it's the flag, the government, whatever. The idea to me is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's totally identical.
And the problem is, saluting to, the rainbow flag, whatever, instead of the American flag, you're essentially doing the same thing. You're just calling it something else.
You've changed a different flag, that's all you've done. Yeah. You've changed the colours. And that flag, the LGBT, I'm not even going to go there, because it sounds like a Google password now. Literally is meant to not be anything political, but a community of people. And those colours of those flags represent each member of that community, each part community that is put together. It's almost like looking at the United Nations flag makes no sense because it's all of the nations put together when it originally was, or something like that. And you saluting to that. You're saluting to every member. When does it get, like you say, when does it get to a point where it's any different to what you're doing to any other flag? I swear down, if you're making young children salute to a fucking rainbow flag, what is wrong with me making children salute to Robinson's fruit ice cream? I mean, but it's getting to a point they're painting everything. Everything in the flag colour. I get it. You wanted more and more and more of it put out there. I get it. But it's got to a point where we've got it in London, we've got it on the roads. Even confuses police horses because I can't walk on it normally because obviously a different colour deprivation and everything like that. It's got to a point where it's on our fucking diggers. It's got to a point where it's on our company logos. I get it. I get you want us to be a part of it and you want to be merged into society. But what was wrong with it 10, 20 years ago when you were in society and no one judged you then?
I think a lot of the problem is that not everyone, that's the issue, not everyone who's part of the community, the LGBT community, is doing this. But there are some people who are trying to force it into every waking aspect of life. For example, like you were saying on diggers. Now, if Steve, who's driving the digger, is part of the community,
fair enough.
Then, yeah, rainbows on the digger makes sense. But if John, who's driving it, isn't, then that's weird. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's the point. There's a nice hockey teams now, isn't it? They're refusing to play because it's being put on their shirts, and I get that. Some of the players are Russian.
Yeah.
They actually cannot wear it because back home in Russia, not many of you know this, it's actually illegal, just like it was here in the United Kingdom in the 1960s.
I mean,
I don't think a lot of people remember it was illegal.
I don't think people realise sometimes that going to prison in Russia, that's not a fun time.
No, it's literally like the Gulag. And it's not like Call of Duty, it's like proper Gulag,
that's like
forget-me-hole.
Torture and death sort of stuff.
And the guys will do the same to you in there anyway, they don't care. All expats, Spetsnaz or whatever. But, like going back to it, on the jerseys, it's on the diggers, it's getting everywhere. Now, I've got nothing wrong with it. It got to a point where the company was saying to us, what can we do more to put on our work vehicles? I literally put my hand up and said, why don't you put them on the van? And someone went, oh, brilliant idea, put them on the van. Has it happened? No, because it's cost. And what cost does it get to a point where it becomes stupid? And the company have got to a point where they've gone, we've got these little tiny little stickers, go on inside your van.
Does nothing.
But it's inside the van. No one sees it. I see it, and the other guys will see it when they get in their own vans.
They're basically pretending to make a point.
They want to make, like you said, they want to make the change. They want to be the one that said, I put that on the
They just want to pretend they were part of it. But they didn't really want to
put down the digger.
They didn't want to be the ones who made the change. They just wanted to say they were there.
But they go home every night, they close their door, go home to their whatever family they got, and they shut off to what that was. And they go back the next day and they're part of these communities.
Well, it's like the classic Gay Pride Month every year. I don't care about Gay Pride Month, that's fine, have Gay Pride Month. The thing that annoys me is every corporation in the world changes their logo, they're like, oh yeah, Gay Pride Month, and then come the first of the month when it's over, Gay Pride logo gone.
Oh, it's gone.
It's almost like they never cared.
It's erased. Yeah,
it's just completely pretend. It's bullshit.
Earth Month. We're in Earth Month.
Yeah.
Again, shouldn't every day be Earth Month?
Oh yeah.
And then shouldn't it be every day? It should be gay. Every day should be Gay Day, or fuck me. Do you know what I mean? Like it. When does it get to a point where it's getting ridiculous? So we've got to put a day to it and everything, and every day, and then we got to buy something more for it. Like you go into the shops. You go to the Lego shop, they have like a flag you can buy that you can make for it. You'll go to like, I don't know, donut stall, they'll make like a gay pride donut. Like you say, next day, it's all thrown in the bin.
Yeah.
It's all pulled down.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's all deleted, not a thing.
It's gone. It always reminds me of this meme. Well, it's not really a meme, it's like a kind of funny interview I saw on TikTok a while ago. Basically, this guy's going around, he's interviewing people, and he says to people, would you say you're an ally of the LGBT? Oh, fuck, I can't say it. This guy... I'm going to say the community from now on. This guy goes around interviewing people saying, are you an ally to gays? And people say, yeah, sure. And they say, would you stand up for a gay person? And they say, yeah. And then he says, would you suck a dick to straight men? And the guys are like, well, no. And he's like, I thought you were an ally. And the guys are like, well, yeah, but like, and they're kind of starts like stumbling for words. And it's like, it's people like that. They almost want to push it too far. They want to make everybody part of the community, which that isn't what a community is. No. Like, everybody can't be part of the community, because then it's not...
Where does it go from being a socialism from a community?
Yeah.
Because it's getting to a point where you're being made, you've got to do that.
Forcing it on people, that's not the way to do it.
You can have friends and family, and you can have friends of friends that could be gays, lesbians, queers, whatever. And I tell you now, if you were out drinking with them and someone started on them, you would defend them. And you would think, whatever they are into, I defend them because that's what they believe in, because I'd hope they do the same for me. But when it gets to a point when there's a man across the road, you're doing your protest, and he is doing another protest, but he's not saying anything, and he's just got a billboard on himself, and it says what he believes in, that it's against the Bible, whatever. When does it get to a point where you need to physically go over and attack him? Because there's something that's when it becomes... you're an army, and you're not a community. You're not a nice community.
Like, some people are just looking for a fight, you know. They're just looking for a war.
100%.
And that's
like
where
you say,
it gets
something
difficult.
they can defend for. And
it's almost like they're doing it in a selfish way because they want something to fight for. It's for them.
Yeah.
It's not for the people they're fighting for. It's for them. That's why they're doing it.
Well, it's a bit like, I want to touch on the Mr. Beast situation.
Mr. Beast and Chris?
And Mr. Beast and Chris. So, if a lot of you... I don't follow Mr. Beast. I never really have. I just thought, okay, a guy with a lot of money can buy a lot of people things, and it's amazing what he can do with money. But at the same time, a lot of people have watched him, and it's quite a major thing. He's got something like over 100 million.
Oh, yeah.
Is it something like that? It's ridiculous.
It's something ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous on YouTube. He's got a major following. And I get that. He's been on there years. He's done very well for himself. And he's got a very successful team that works with him.
Yeah, yes.
One of his long-time buddies, who has had a bit of backlash this week and the week before, he done a video was uploaded from a couple of years ago about the list of genders that he was taking the mick out of on to a computer screen. And then he said, "Oh, I hope you don't offend anybody." And you know, like, and he says that he's spinning around as a helicopter. And he says, "You know, I'm attacked as a helicopter because you called me a he." That's kind of backfired on him. And to bring you up to speed, if you're not aware, Chris has begun the transformation from a man to a woman, although I think he still hasn't had his cock taken off. And he has a child and a wife. Now, as far as everyone's aware, they've split up. and there's been some more controversy on the web. I think it was on Twitter. He showed a picture of him putting high heels on his son. That's kicked up again. Mr. Beast, what's going on? Are you going to keep him? Are you going to get rid of him? Because there's a lot of rumours going around that if you get rid of him, you'll be cancelled. I think you would be.
I agree, probably would.
And you've got Chris making comments on live streams about, like, pass me that big boy and everything like that. Is it just a stunt you're pulling off? Are you getting paid, like, a lot of money here for having someone trans in your group? Like, are they paying you that? Or is this all real?
It does make you wonder. I mean, as far as I can tell, I feel like Mr. Beast is now in a situation where, like you said, he can't really get rid of Chris, stop him making the comments he's making, because if he does, he gets cancelled. But then at the same time, if he keeps him, it changes Mr. Beast's brand into something that he doesn't want. So
it changes his fan base.
Which way does he go with this?
Going back to the 2%, not all of his followers will be transgender or lesbians, gays, whatever. They will be a fraction. But there will be a whole fraction that will support that community and follow a herd, sheep. When he does that, if he was to get rid of Chris, there will be a backlash of probably 40 million people that will disagree with this. Whether or not those are active accounts still or whatever, you're going to have a percentage that aren't active, so you can forget about those. But there will be a percentage that will leave him, and he'll reduce in views and follows and likes and subscribes, because people will go, well, what you've just done is ugly, and you've just got rid of someone because of their gender, which it wouldn't be the case of. And we know all for sure straight away YouTube would go delete, because you even get cancelled if you say you support Donald Trump. That's a podcast, isn't it? It's not allowed to be seen on cameras anymore because they'll remove the entire podcast because of it. It just goes to show, when does it get to a point where you will get cancelled because you disagree with something, but if you follow the carrot dangling in front of you, you'll get a pat on the back all the way through society and bouquets thrown at you.
Problem is, though, you follow the carrot for too long, society, the trend changes.
Trend changing all the time.
And you're now the one following the wrong thing. So you've constantly got to be, to be in the right, you've constantly got to be changing your opinion on what you believe is right, which isn't always okay.
And
not always easy to do.
Coming up.
Yeah, you've basically just got to agree with the majority, but that's not always the right thing to do.
It's a terrible fashion.
Yeah.
Terrible fashion. 1 minute everyone's wearing Emperor Armani, next minute everyone's wearing Jordans. I don't know. But yeah, so I think we're gonna wrap that bit up there.
Yeah.
Because I think we've absolutely grilled into that right now.
I'd love to hear what people have to say on this, whether they agree with us or not. A lot of the issues we're kind of talking about here, like Tom said, we're not against anyone doing what they want to do. Do whatever you want to do. It's the people that are trying to force it upon the world where, like, everybody has to be part of it. But nobody has to be part. If they want to be part of it, that's cool. If they don't, they don't. Like, you can't go for an all-out war forcing people to be part of your thing, because that's not okay.
No, it's fucking not. Leave it alone. And just, like, let everyone get on with their own life.
Yeah.
Like, we knew there were people gay in school. We left them alone. We didn't care. Like,
no, that's the thing. I'd love to get to a point in the world. I'd genuinely love to get to a point in the world where you can have a friend who's gay and you're straight, or the other way around, and you're straight, they're gay. Okay?
But it doesn't matter. You go out, you go out.
That's not a part of the conversation, because that's just who you are.
No, yeah. You're not going to stop chatting about women to him or to her because that's who they are and that's how it is. And they're not going to stop talking to you about things because you're going to be a mate. You're going to be like, so how's your love life going? And they're going to be open with you, and they're probably going to tell you things you're not going to be comfortable with, but you're going to tell them things that they're not going to be comfortable with. But when it gets to a point where you go, stop talking, please, because you're making me feel uncomfortable, that's when it's a friendship that's ended, and it's become more of a me situation.
Yeah, you're making it about yourself, and you're being a shit friend.
Yeah, and that's basically what's happening here.
Once we get to a point where a white person can say, I would like to report hate crime, someone called me something because I'm white.
They'll laugh at you on the phone.
I think that's the point where humanity just needs to walk into the ocean and end itself.
Return the dolphins.
Return to the sea, because fuck me, that is the end.
The fish wouldn't even take us back. So this episode's brought to you with fucking no one because we're not sponsored yet. Elon during the week had an interview with, I don't fucking know. We've just been watching the TikToks.
Generic American reporter, man.
Yeah, just whatever. Basically, he let his lips loose to the fact that Twitter had no encryption whatsoever. You could actually delve into people's direct messages and get all the data from it. So location, information, the fucking computer, what they sent it from.
I mean, the scariest part is just the message itself.
And then the message itself. So you talking about, I don't know, you want to hook up with someone, someone's got it.
And the scariest part, I think, is, like it says in the interview with Elon Musk, a lot of reporters and journalists use Twitter DMs to talk to their sources. Now that's kind of dangerous. If someone gets hold of that information...
Phone tappings again, like the fucking BBC done.
Someone's getting fucked.
Yeah, if it's all traceable, I hope it is. I hope some government-funded media out there that was doing it is about to get the major grilling of their... Well, probably nicked. Because they did the same with the BBC, didn't they? Phone tappings.
Oh, the classic phone tapping scandal.
A phone tapping scandal that loads of comedians were actually involved with as well, weren't they?
Celebrities
across the world were involved in it. That again, and Elon Musk, and you might hate him, whoever you are or whatever you think of him, but the man has fucking saved Twitter, and I'm going to be damn right stand on a podium here for him. Yes, he might have got rid of your blue tick and he might make you pay for it, but he has given a lot of celebrities theirs back because he's paid for it. But at the same time, the man is washing Twitter of the blood and shit that was in it. We're talking about government-funded medias that had been using government money to tell you to stay in your home and to get jabbed and don't see your loved ones, watch loved ones die in their house, and you couldn't do a fucking thing because you got told by Twitter to stay at home and sit with your thumb up your ass.
And the worst thing about it as well is the government had the power, in some capacity, to read private messages because, like we said, there was no encryption.
Exactly.
The government could read your messages to, whether it was to some millionaire, some news outlet, to a hooker, whoever you were talking to, the government could read that. There was no way of stopping that.
They're not interested about certain things, but they're interested in the things they can't tax.
Yeah.
Terrorism, drugs, and prostitution. But it's funny, isn't it, how that they can have all of this information at fingertips, but they still can't stop one of the biggest things. Paedophilia, trafficking, sex trafficking, drugs trafficking.
It does make you wonder.
Jeffrey Epstein.
I can't imagine the majority of, for example, pedos are that sophisticated. The majority. I know some of them are probably pretty tech-savvy.
They most likely use WhatsApp.
I mean, I can't imagine the majority are that advanced. So
they would be using Twitter DMs.
Why is it so hard?
Twitter is one of those. It's like Reddit. It's like a playground like Reddit at the moment. It's you're getting a lot of people's content that you can see, nudity.
It's a bit of a free-for-all.
It is. It's turned into Reddit, and it's a bit like what Tumblr was like. If some of our young viewers don't know what Tumblr was like.
Oh, Tumblr.
Oh, Tumblr. Tumblr.
I wonder what you're talking about.
Some of our young viewers don't know what Tumblr is. Tumblr was basically a piece of shit that got bought out by Yahoo to try and save itself. But Tumblr was a pornographic background for artists, so they could put up like the great coloured oiled painting as well as their naked titted lover at the bottom, and it didn't get covered up, and you could have an account and you could be 12 years old and you could see this. Tumblr don't fucking lie, you could.
Tumblr was a mess.
There was people through school that were 13 years old were able to log in, and Tumblr 18 years old, we don't know anymore, but it doesn't matter, just change your name. Thick as shit, we're still going back to the old days of when you could join Pornhub and it would say date. Everyone used to put 1990 on it because you would have been 18 at the time.
I mean, I think you can still do that.
You can definitely still do that. You do it on Steam, don't you, just to watch like a scary film. You can put on Steam. You can put yourself down as 1943. Who 1943, born 1943, is going to be playing a fucking Steam game? If you are, I want to see you. But at the same time,
please leave a comment.
Or whoever it is, if they haven't got social media, get them. But at the same time, like, he has saved Twitter. Just going back to it, what he found out through the government, through the Twitter files, through the encryptions, nothing was encrypted, nothing was protected, nothing was safe. That meant anyone could have your personal information. You could have even had, like, even once sent, like, to your partner, your bank details. How fucking insecure is that? And these are people like, I don't know, cryptocurrency, millionaires that could probably have done that.
Yeah.
Could probably have sent a link, like a one-time passcode, that could have sent someone some currency somewhere. And you're all out there going, I hate him, he's making me pay for a blue tick. Fuck your blue tick, like I said last episode. It doesn't mean shit. You don't walk around in the street with a blue tick on your fucking head like a sim, do you? It says verified. You don't have to walk up to a room and go, I'm not a robot, click all these 8 traffic lights in these 15 squares. It doesn't mean shit in the real world. Get into the real world. Get out your ass out of this VR fucking Mark Zuckerberg shit. He has saved Twitter.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's got to a point, I believe now, that he wants to move Twitter into something else. Hasn't much come about it into light. But at the same time, you know, and people criticising him, talking about how he got Tesla engineers in to look at the algorithm for the Twitter pic. You're going to do that.
Of course you are.
Any company does that. When they buy another company, they use their own assessors to assess the people of that stuff. Happened to us. It's most likely happened to you. It probably will happen to you.
It's just the way it works.
It's just the way it works. And you always have, like, companies, a lot of people don't realise this, they have people that come in to find ways to save money for a company. And you won't have a clue who they are. They'll make out they're like some new colleague. And they're called sit-ins. And they watch everything you do from the minute you get in that office or get to work, from the minute you leave. And that asshole will then go back to his little base where he comes from, and he'll tell them, Stephen does 8 coffees a day, he does about 2 hours work, I've caught him at the water cooler for 5 minutes every hour, talking with other people, and he goes for a shit 3 hours of the day. Then you have Jennifer. Jennifer has 3 cups of coffee, she does about 8 hours work, she gets up and has 1 walk around to help her eyes and stop getting RSI out of the computer desk. That's what happens, and they analyse all of the workers and all the workload that's going on, and he'll question you things. So you're going to get that. And I imagine that's what he's done with that.
Probably.
And then now he's got more controversy because he brings his bodyguards in. Sorry, like, the man's like, what, second richest in the world or something?
I believe he's the second.
Second, or, I'm not 100% on that, but I'm definitely sure he's up there.
He's up the top somewhere.
He's just going to walk out of his Tesla? I don't imagine he drives Tesla. And he's just going to...
Driving that Cybertruck.
Cybertruck. Step out, artillery bullet, whatever, something like armoured piercing, some sniper rifle, or someone wants to throw acid at him, or, I don't know, blood or something. Shout murder at him for some strange reason. You think that he's just going to walk round and just accept?
Of course not. I think a lot of people tend to forget. Well, it's one of those. Elon can't really imagine what it's like to live in the life of an everyday person, but at the same time, the everyday person can't imagine what it's like to live in Elon's life. They're just 2 totally different worlds.
He's working 6 jobs now, isn't he?
He's
working 6 jobs. I work 3 jobs, right? This I class as a hobby. That's what I mean. Like, he's working 6 jobs. Who else on the Who else here could put their hand up? And who else? Anyone viewing could put their hand up and say they're doing 6 jobs.
No,
And don't you dare say that what he does isn't a job because he's a billionaire. Oh, boo-hoo. All right, okay, you do 6 jobs on minimum wage. You're still going to earn more than the minimum wage.
Tell you what, though, there's a reason he's a billionaire. It's because he works so hard.
Because he works so hard for it.
No matter
exactly.
what you think of him, Elon Musk, whether you think he's Iron Man, Tony Stark, or you think he's Lex Luthor, like, he definitely puts a shift in.
He's the man. He's the person. I think he's the man that's going to save his generation.
Well, he's definitely going to try.
I mean, how you watch him? It's only the last 10 years. He's probably really taken to the spotlight.
Yeah,
I mean, he was there. He was always been there. It's not like he's just been cloned in.
No, I mean, I've known about him for, say, I don't know, 15 years or so.
Yeah.
But he's not been.
But that was when
really
he made the Teslas.
He's not really been in the public eye that much.
He was
for
really
these maybe 10
driving the
years.
electric cars back then, and no one cared because they thought 15 years ago won't catch on.
He shot that Red Bull, mate.
It won't catch on, but it worked. Yeah, a lot of people say that their build quality of a Tesla's crap, but people are still buying them. They're throwing them out there. You know, if you could make something shit and make it sell for £100,000, $100,000, would you moan? No, I don't think he cares, because personally, he's only a CEO, isn't he? He's only like a chief engineer of the place. He's not exactly the guy on the
He's not the man building the cars.
No, he's not the guy building them, so you can't say it's his shoddy craftsmanship.
No.
It's like anything. You can have a building firm, you could have 60 guys, women, work under you, and you're telling me all 60 of them are going to be 60 quality tradesmen. No, they're not. You're going to end up with your ones that do maybe 20 weeks a year, like, you know, and then they leave you, or you're going to get those ones that are with you for 80 years, and they're good quality craftsmen. It's like anything. It is literally like anything, and people just slating him even more. As much as you might not like him because he sends big fuck-off rockets into space and you think, the environment, you know, he's doing something. He's doing more than what the government do.
And he's doing more than the majority of people.
A lot more.
I mean,
he's doing more than fucking Bill Gates.
Bill Gates is part of the Illuminati.
I know he's obviously sending rockets up in the sky that are kind of destroying the atmosphere a little bit. But at the same time, he's trying to find a solution. But you turning off your fucking standby on your TV, they ain't doing shit.
You turning down your washing machine from 60 to 40 because your clothes have got blood in them and they don't wash out at 40, you're saving the environment. Just remember that. And also, there's another one thing going around on TikTok and I want to get off my fucking chest. It's, why does laundry smell better hanging out on the line? It doesn't. It smells like shit. It fucking smells like shit. And you hang it out on the line, what do you risk? Your fucking neighbour next door having a bonfire. You've got to run out, bring it in, or it's pissing down with rain. Carry on sticking it in the tumble dryer. Also, the tumble dryer takes the lint crap out of your clothes. So it actually takes all that fluff and burr and shit off. So like you could be rolling around in dry grass, you could throw it in a tumble dryer and take it all off.
I mean, tumble dryer does have a lint collector for a reason.
Exactly. Does your washing line? No. So if I see that TikTok advert anymore about how it saved the fucking... Shut up. Saw a guy today with a brand new Dodge Charger Ram, 2023 plate, right? Blue, great big exhaust on it, barbling away down the outside lane, doing about 90 miles per hour. Do you think in his head he worried about vegans and stop oil behind him? No. Because he's just been to the crude oil station to fill up that truck.
Sounds like the sort of guy who'd run him over.
It's wide enough and tall enough. So, what are you? Like, you know, leave Elon alone. The man's doing something. And you can probably have a go at me about shit slaying fucking Bill Gates. Man done fuck all. He stole Microsoft for one. And then look at him now, he's got £15 million extra in his bank account for stocks through COVID jabs. Think about it. Who puts money on a jab?
So, Ukrainian's President Zelensky, has been found to have been embezzling $400 million of fuel money.
And the CIA found this out.
So apparently the president...
have a war with someone?
Yeah, apparently it wasn't just the president, but his entourage as well, were apparently skimming money off the top, basically, and sort of stealing money from what was being given to them by the US government.
Interesting.
Very interesting, and apparently this has been estimated to be around 400 million that they've essentially stolen. 400
million. I mean, we're not talking like a couple of bucks or pounds here. This is 400 million. So someone somewhere is boo-boo here. Big boo-boo.
It's very interesting. I don't even really understand why they would have done it.
No.
You know? Like, why would they...
He's getting billions from NATO and countries all around the world.
And the thing is,
to support this war.
It's estimated that they've embezzled at least 400 million. It could be more.
It could be more. I mean, this is what the CIA have managed to somehow come out with files. I mean, it's an interesting read. I mean, I know that not long ago, a couple of defective Ukraine soldiers, they've just handed over a load of American vehicles to the Russian troops. These are Ukrainians that have turned. Now, whether or not you disagree with it or not and think it's a lie, we've seen the videos, like the tanks, American tanks rolling around with Z on them.
Yeah, I think a lot of the problem here as well is this 400 million they've been skimming off never even got to the point of purchasing the fuel. Like, they were essentially just taking the money, using most of it for whatever, and then just skimming 400 million off the top and just taking it for themselves. I mean, why? Why would they need to do that?
Say hello to my little friends. I mean, the bastard probably ain't even in Ukraine. He's probably green screened somewhere in safety in Poland. You know, like, what the fuck? Why? Why do you need to skim that sort of... You're getting billions anyway. Oh, is it because it's something that you could say you lost? It's just one of those things you could taxly say you write it off. Like buying a Range Rover, you can write that off in this country. I think you could do the same in the States. I'll rid that off and go myself a fucking F-250. But this is where it gets interesting.
So President Zelensky is basically... He's in this position of... He's basically in a losing war. Like they're not going to be able to beat Russia, let's face it. And he gets this financial aid, and he thinks, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have some of that. I'm going to put that in my pocket. Why? Like, why?
That's exactly what happened. He's woke up in a new Bugatti. I bet it's parked up in some garage somewhere with him safely sleeping under it every night.
Next to his green screen.
Next to his green screen. Hello, it is me, President Zelensky. The fucking joke. All of it's a fucking joke. It's all a big smoke screen. I mean, for the CIA to release this kind of information is quite heartening as well. Because, I mean, like, where's the international arrest for Zelensky now, then? Oh, no, we can't do that because we're helping him give us all of our fucking ammunition. We've now got to a point where we're depleting our ammunition, the reserves and everything, that well, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. I mean... Canada ain't going to fucking help because they give like 1.29% back to NATO every year when they should give 2%, but that's because they're liberal cunts. We've taken them in, we've taken loads of Ukrainians into house. I mean, we've had men running off with Ukrainian women, ditching their wives for these women. I mean, they must look good. I mean, unless there's Zelensky in a wig, but come on. Where's the news about it? Why am I only finding like one news article on it? I bet if I probably did a deeper search, I could probably find more, but woke Google won't let me do that. So I'll probably have to do like hide my ass, something like that, or duck, something like that. But yeah, this is from NDTV. If you want to go read it, it's all there. It's got plenty of ads for you to fucking look at as well if you're one of those.
You might have to accept a few cookies before you can read the article.
400 million skimming off the top of a fuel bill.
I wonder where it went.
Where'd it go in, Zelensky? Don't forget, tomorrow is the new UK government's way of alerting everyone. Yes, your phone's going to go off tomorrow at what time?
Couldn't tell you.
3 o'clock. Keep it in. 3 o'clock is going to go off. So yes, if you're driving, please touch that and fucking swerve and crash into the central reservation because you're a fucking idiot. No, don't do that. Don't touch your phone, ignore it, pull over safely, then turn off because we've been told it will continuously run until you actually disable it. And this goes for anyone. I think it's going to have a major impact because it's meant to set off across all 1 million devices like phones, I think iPads as well, I'm not too sure.
I assume anything that's got a SIM card basically. Any smart device with a SIM card like an iPhone, iPad, Android, anything like that.
So yeah, don't worry, the world is not going to end. They're just doing a massive smoke screen so something else can happen. There'll probably be an intercontinental ballistic missile flying overhead. Don't look up.
Just remember, it's all a drill.
Tinfoil hat time. I don't know what to say with that one.
Tinfoil hat time.
To this one. I wasn't meant to say tinfoil hat time. I was meant to say, put your tinfoil hat on. Fuck it, we'll put it on.
The missile isn't real.
Yeah. Put your tinfoil hat on for this one, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Yeah, so just prepare. Even if your phone's on vibrate, I've been told, even if it's turned off, you can't avoid it. And there are some guys that are like political, that like in the members of parliament, that have actually turned this off on their phone so they don't get it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Probably because they get a better informing by the government themselves.
I'd imagine if something real was to go down, I'm sure they're probably 50 miles away by the time it's actually going to go off. So
in their country house that the government, that the taxpayer paid for, they're safe.
But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, yeah, this new alert system currently is only for weather alerts. So, you know, storms, volcanic eruptions. Not that we get money. Yeah, not that we get much of that in the UK, but still, at the moment it's just weather. But I think they are looking to expand it more in the
wildfire that
future.
could run through the concrete jungle of London.
Absolutely destroy the New Forest.
I get it. Some countries have got them. Yep, fair enough. It's about time the government takes some immediate action. I mean, it's been waiting for like how many years for us to have something like this to actually work.
Well, like we covered in, I believe, the first episode.
Was the first episode, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the first things we covered. We both thought something like this already existed, but no, apparently it doesn't.
Apparently it doesn't. It's quite a common thing in most European countries, so a lot of people are a bit up in arms about it. We're probably well behind on stuff like that. Like, America always gets the good TV shows before we do, and so forth. Like, Ukraine always gets the
good wars before we do.
The good wars before we do. Fucking wow, that was savage. But yeah, at the same time, don't panic. It's just a drill, we hope. But yeah, it's being rolled out. If you've not seen it on the news and you haven't had a bulletin from your company to talk about it, don't touch it whilst you're driving. Just pull over, because at the same time, think about yourself. The police will pull you over because I imagine they're going to have a similar situation. But, you know, if you're driving along and they see you touching the phone, don't get yourself into trouble and get yourself, what was it, £1,000 fine now?
Something like that.
6 points. Don't land yourself in the deep end. Not at the
worth it.
moment, not with this living crisis that we're going through. Don't give the government any more money than you need to. So yeah, just pull over safely, hazard, switch the car off, take it off. I imagine they haven't even spoke about the process. They've said you've got to swipe unlock or something and turn it off.
It's a little bit confusing. I'm not really. I don't think anyone really knows what's going to happen, and I think that's the worrying bit for everyone.
We've seen an image of it. We haven't actually seen a video of it. We haven't heard what it's going to sound like. So, you know, is it going to be loud or something on the phones? Is it going to blow the speakers on my iPhone 13?
Do you think it's actually going to go off at 3? Or do you think it's going to be some awkward delay where it goes off at like 7?
Past.
I reckon it's going to be like 7 minutes past because there's some sort of technical issue.
Some bullshit delay like the fireworks always happens every year.
Exactly. They're supposed to go off at 8 and 1:15. You're still standing there staring at the darkness of the sky waiting for them to go off. I imagine it'll be a similar situation.
It's UK. We're late for everything.
Yep, pretty much that's how it works over here.
Yeah, that's how it works. So yeah, just be careful. Just remember it's going to happen. I think that's going to end it for this week.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we got to talk about. I mean, there was quite a lot of content in there. I mean, we did a few deep dives on some stuff. Talked about Bud Light stuff, sort of trans in general. Don't know what you'd say that. Trans rights in general, just the trans community in general.
Community.
What else did we cover? The weather alert system.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, so quite a lot to go through this week. But hopefully you've enjoyed it and enjoyed the last few episodes. Hopefully we're still getting better each week. If we're not, let us know.
We're getting terrible.
Getting worse each week.
Getting worse each
just
week.
Degrading each episode.
We're just getting tired and just older every day.
Yeah, well, definitely that. I mean, and like we've said before, you know, leave us comments, likes. They always help push us through the algorithm and all that good stuff.
Exactly. But the good thing is that we're keeping the content going. You know, I think this has been a fantastic first couple of videos. We've had some great content. You know, there's quite a lot going on through the world at the moment that we're able to talk about, which is good. But at the same time, we want to hear back from you. We want some content from you. Talk about a subject that you want to talk about, because love talking about it. Love getting everything into it. And we still haven't had our other mate come on the podcast.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, we're what, are we 6th episode in there?
This will be episode 6. He
This
was
is-
supposed
yeah.
to be here for episode 1, but
Yeah.
he's yet to. The funny thing, I've never even met him either.
Never met him.
I've never even met him.
Never met him. So
I'm starting to wonder if he even exists.
Yeah.
Is he a real? Is he an imaginary friend? Is he your imaginary friend? Is he with us right now?
Someone's been in my room, taken my beers. He is real. He's very real. I sent him a TikTok a minute ago.
I guess I'll find out when he turns up.
TikTok select account, open it. Oh, I've sent another video to myself. But yeah, thanks for watching. We've had actually an uproar in production this evening. We've actually had makeup artist in to deal with pizza head,
The greasy head
syndrome, and we're also gonna have a camera crew for next episode. Funny enough, we've had 2 people come forward to volunteer. They don't want to be in it, but we're going to list them in the description. So yeah, shout out to Olivia and Kaz. They are our partners.
We said this is budget.
So literally, we're on a budget. So yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time. Ciao.